Most people don't realize that the voice in their head is the most influential voice they will ever hear. You live with it every second of the day. It either lifts you up or tears you down. And the scary part, most of the time, that voice isn't even yours. It's an echo of the criticism, fear, and doubt that other people planted in you, but you don't have to live under its rule. You can reprogram it. You can take back control. And if you commit to talking to yourself in a new way for just 3 days, you will start unlocking potential you didn't even know was there. For the next 3 days, every single time you catch yourself saying something negative, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, I'm too weak, too late, too lost, stop, cut it off mid-thought. Because that voice isn't speaking truth, it's speaking habit. And habits can be changed. Instead, replace those thoughts with a new voice, one that pushes you forward instead of holding you back. Tell yourself, I am capable, I am responsible, I am stronger than I think. I have the power to change my life. You don't even have to believe it at first. Just say it. Because the brain listens. The way you speak to yourself shapes everything. Your mindset, your confidence, your actions, and ultimately, your future. Most people don't even realize that their own voice is either their greatest enemy or their most powerful ally. Every single day, the words running through your mind are creating your reality. If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, not strong enough, not smart enough, then that becomes the truth you live by. But if you start speaking to yourself with intention, with power, and with belief, everything begins to change. Your brain listens to everything you say. It doesn't question whether a thought is helpful or destructive. It simply absorbs and acts on it. If you constantly tell yourself that you'll fail, that you'll never be successful, that you don't have what it takes, then your brain will work hard to make that your reality. You'll hesitate, you'll hold back, and you'll stop yourself before you even try. Not because you actually can't do it, but because you've convinced yourself you can't. But what happens when you flip the script? What happens when you take control of that inner dialogue and start feeding your mind something different? You begin to rewire your beliefs. You replace doubt with determination, fear with confidence, and hesitation with action. You tell yourself, I am strong, I am capable, I am built for this. And even if at first it feels unnatural, even if it feels like a lie, your brain starts to listen. It starts to believe. The truth is, most of the negative thoughts you have weren't even yours to begin with. They were planted in you by others, by experiences, by past failures, by things people told you when you were younger. But you are not your past. You are not other people's opinions. You are what you choose to believe about yourself right now. So start talking to yourself like someone you respect. Speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would give to a friend who needed it. If you wouldn't tell someone you love that they're worthless or incapable, then why say it to yourself? Your mind is always listening, and it will follow whatever direction you give it. Every great success begins with a single thought. Every strong person, every winner, every leader has learned how to control their inner voice. They don't let doubt run the show. They don't let fear make their decisions, and neither should you. The power to change your life isn't in someone else's hands. It's in your own words. Most of the limits in your life don't actually exist anywhere except in your mind. The thoughts that tell you, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'll never succeed. Where did they come from? Were you born thinking that way? No. You picked up those beliefs from experiences, from failures, from what other people told you. But just because you believe something doesn't make it true. And if you don't challenge those beliefs, they will control you. Negative beliefs are like chains. They don't physically hold you down, but they convince you that you can't move forward. They keep you small, afraid, and stuck in the same cycle of doubt. And the worst part, most people never question them. They accept those thoughts as facts. They don't ask themselves, is this actually true? They just assume it is, and they live their entire lives under a belief that was never real in the first place. But the moment you start questioning those beliefs, something powerful happens. When your mind tells you, you're not smart enough to do this, you ask, says who? When it says, you'll never succeed, you ask, why not? When it tells you, you always fail, you challenge it by looking at all the times you didn't. You replace that thought with something stronger. I am capable, I am learning, and I will figure this out. It's not about ignoring reality, it's about seeing reality from a different angle. Maybe you failed before, but that doesn't mean you'll always fail. Maybe something is difficult, but that doesn't mean you can't overcome it. The truth is, every single person who has ever achieved something great had to battle the same negative thoughts. The difference is, they refuse to let those thoughts win. If you want to break free, you have to stop agreeing with every thought that enters your mind. You have to challenge the voice that tells you to quit. You have to replace those lies with words that push you forward, because the only thing stronger than a negative belief is the decision to stop believing it. Most people wander through life without ever giving themselves clear, honest direction. They say they want success, happiness, or a better life, but when you ask them how they plan to get there, they have no real answer. They drift, hoping things will somehow fall into place. But life doesn't work that way. You don't accidentally become successful. You don't stumble into greatness. You have to take control, set a course, and move with purpose. The first step is being honest with yourself. Stop sugarcoating your situation. If your life isn't where you want it to be, admit it. If you have bad habits holding you back, call them out. If you're making excuses, recognize them for what they are. You can't fix what you refuse to acknowledge. Most people avoid this kind of honesty because it's uncomfortable. It forces them to face their weaknesses. But the truth is, ignoring reality doesn't make it go away. It just keeps you stuck in the same place. Once you're honest about where you are, you have to decide where you're going. Be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Define what success looks like for you. Don't just say, I want to be better. Identify exactly what needs to improve. If you don't set a clear target, you'll waste time and energy going in circles. Clarity creates momentum. The more specific you are, the easier it is to take action. Then, once you know where you're going, start moving. Stop waiting for motivation, stop overthinking, and stop making excuses. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you a perfect roadmap. You have to take responsibility for your own progress. That means making decisions based on where you want to be, not where you are now. It means cutting out distractions, pushing through discomfort, and holding yourself accountable. If you talk to yourself with clarity and purpose every single day, your life will start to change. Instead of saying, I should do this someday, tell yourself, this is what I'm doing today. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, create it. Instead of hoping things will get better, make them better. Because when you give yourself clear, honest direction, you stop hoping for change and you start making it happen. Your life is your responsibility. Every decision, every habit, every action you take is shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. Too many people spend their lives blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for where they are. But the hard truth is that no one is coming to fix your life for you. No one is going to hand you success, discipline, or confidence. That's something only you can build for yourself. Taking responsibility doesn't mean beating yourself up for past mistakes. It means recognizing that from this moment forward, you have control over how your life unfolds. It means understanding that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. You can choose to learn instead of complain. You can choose to adapt instead of staying stuck. You can choose to move forward instead of making excuses. It's easy to blame others when things go wrong. It's easy to point fingers at the world, the economy, your upbringing, or the people around you. But blame is a trap. It keeps you powerless. The moment you say it's their fault, you give away your ability to change things. But when you say, this is my life, and I am responsible for what I do with it, you take back your power. Responsibility is about owning your actions, your choices, and your mindset. If you don't like where you are, ask yourself what you can do to change it. If you keep failing at something, ask yourself what you need to learn instead of complaining that it's unfair. If you have a bad habit that's holding you back, admit it and start working to fix it. Growth starts the moment you stop avoiding the truth and start taking action. You have to be the kind of person who follows through. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you set a goal, take steps toward it every single day. Success doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you decide deep down that you are in control of your life. No more excuses, no more waiting for someone else to fix things. The moment you take full responsibility, everything changes. Because suddenly you realize that your future is in your hands, and there is nothing more powerful than that. Every word you speak carries weight, not just to others, but to yourself. The way you talk, the way you express your thoughts, and the way you communicate with yourself and the world shape the life you live. Most people speak without thinking, without direction, without realizing that their words are either building them up or tearing them down. If you want to change your life, you have to start speaking with purpose and discipline. Speaking with purpose means understanding that your words are a reflection of your mindset. If you constantly say things like, I can't, I don't know, I'll never be able to do that, then you are setting limits on yourself before you even try. But if you start speaking with intention, if you start saying, I will figure this out, I will improve, I am capable, you begin to rewire your own beliefs. You train your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, on progress instead of obstacles. Discipline in speech is just as important. It means choosing your words carefully, not allowing negativity or weakness to control what you say. It means stopping yourself before you complain, before you blame, before you give in to self-doubt. Instead of saying, I'm tired, say, I have more energy than I think, and I will push through. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I may not know how yet, but I'll learn. The way you talk to yourself and others either strengthens you or weakens you, and the choice is always yours. Discipline also means following through on what you say. If you tell yourself you're going to wake up early, do it. If you say you're going to work harder, prove it. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose confidence in your own word. But every time you follow through, you build self-respect. The strongest people in the world are the ones who speak with clarity and act with discipline. They don't waste words, they don't make excuses, they don't let their own voice be their downfall. When you start speaking with purpose, you stop wasting time on meaningless conversations, empty complaints, and self-sabotaging thoughts. You start using your words to drive action, to set a standard for yourself, to create momentum. And when you combine that with discipline, when your words align with your actions, your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. Most people live like they are helpless, like life is happening to them instead of because of them. But what if, for 3 days, you spoke to yourself as if you were the most powerful force in your life? What if you refused to accept weakness as your default? What if instead of making excuses, you told yourself the truth? That you can take control, you can do hard things, and you will build something better. Don't whisper it. Say it with conviction. Say it every morning before you start your day. Say it every time doubt tries to creep in. And most importantly, say it with action. If you tell yourself, I will not waste time today, then prove it. If you tell yourself, I will face this fear, then take the first step. Because words mean nothing without action, and self-respect comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself. After 3 days of this, you'll notice something strange. Your energy shifts. You start catching negative thoughts before they take root. You feel a sense of control over yourself that maybe you haven't felt in years. And once you get a taste of that power, you won't want to go back. The way you talk to yourself will determine the direction of your life. So for the next 3 days, stop speaking weakness into existence. Stop making yourself small. Talk to yourself like someone worth listening to. Because the truth is, you are.